Hey there, guys. So, I decided to build a platform for the natural stones and lifting. Very long story short, lifting on the soft ground, the tan bark after a while, became very uneven underfoot, and obviously I created, quite a dent in the ground. And what I was finding is over, a few sessions, my knees were caving in, and that was starting to give me a little bit of discomfort, in the knees. And then, if I don't get on top of that, that's how, long term you end up with an injury. And things were just starting to feel a little bit off. I was squatting with the natural stones, and my knees would slightly ache afterwards. And looking back at the videos, it's like, yeah, look, my knees are caving in. Then with a few sessions, I tried pressing the knees out a bit, and nothing was, quite working, the way that it should. So it's like, what, I'm not going to give up, lifting natural stones on soft ground. All I'm going to do is build a platform. So, so all I ended up doing was getting, 3 of the 2.4 meter sleepers, cut them in half, and that gave me 1.2 by 1.2, which was obviously a decent sized platform. Got the kids to give me a hand. Honestly, when you're doing this sort of project, doing it on your own is far quicker, but at the end of the day, it gives them something to do as well. They learn how to construct. They just watch you, and over a period of time they're going to learn things as well. And the other thing is, I was in no rush whatsoever. So this was just one Sunday. It's like, yep, you know what, I'm just going to knock this platform together. And that's all I do, and I try and involve the little ones as much as possible. Now, going back to the sleepers, obviously they were 2.4 meters by 200 mil wide by 75 mil thick, so it was obviously going to be enough support for dropping the stones. These pieces that I was putting on the side, they were 90 by 35 by 1.2, and they were just sort of to frame and hold it all together. This was the top side, and the reason I went with that was simply because when I throw a mat in the center of it, 1,000 by 1,000 by 10 mil, it's going to, in a way, frame it quite well, but it gives you a little bit of a border as to where you should be standing, things like that. And then longer term, when I set the garage gym back up, having these on the top, I'm just going to be able to put some I'm not really going to say eye hooks, but along those lines, and that way I can thread some bands through and use the whole thing as a deficit platform for deadlifts in the future. So it's definitely not going to go to waste. Later on, you'll see, once I've got these in place, I end up turning the platform on the other side, and then I get some it was 70 by 45s, and then I just put them on the other side, spaced them, screwed them in, and that gave a lot more support, and also gave me a little bit of space when the platform's on the ground, because obviously the ground is soft. When it rains, obviously the water comes up, and I'd rather have the soft pine shorts slowly eat away, as opposed to the sleepers. Even though the sleepers are treated, I want to keep them in good nick. So yeah, it just elevates it off the ground that little bit as well, and it also means when you go to lift the thing up, you can easily get your hands underneath. So yeah, it's a win there. And then eventually, as I said, when I get the garage gym set up, the platform will be really quite significant in terms of deficit deadlifts. So yeah, this is just me putting it together, getting the kids to help. As you'll see, this is what it sort of looked like after the first initial stage. If you're just training at home and not outside, that's all you would need, probably for your stone lifting platform. And as I said, these ones here were the 70 by 45, and I end up putting 4 of them across. It's also going to help, hold the whole frame together, a lot more, especially considering I'm going to be dropping some really heavy stones on it. But yeah, it just gives that little bit more elevation off the ground. My son, this little one, he's 2. He always likes to try to help. So yeah, this is him trying to help me put the screws in. And then a bit later on, I get the eldest one. He helps as well. Putting a few more screws in. So yeah, just try and include them. Gives them something to do. Otherwise, they're never going to learn in this day and age. So yeah, just try and include them as much as possible. And this is his first attempt at trying to use a drill. So things, as I said, they go a lot slower when you get your kids involved. But at the end of the day, every time I look at that platform, it's like, oh, you know what, they helped me build it. And as time progresses as well, with some of the more complicated builds that I want to get done, getting them to help and just holding light things, or hey mate, can you just hold this here? It's not overwhelming, it's not daunting. And yeah, they just end up, learning, and, it's just good life skills. And in this day and age, that seems to be few and far between. So yeah, main goal was definitely a stone lifting platform for myself. Second goal was just to get the kids involved and show them how to lift and what they need to do. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below. Otherwise, I'm just going to let this video continue to, run. There's not too much longer anyway. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to comment below, and have a great day wherever you are.